To everyone, to introduce the Narayana Group, I think it's a marquee organization from India, 40 years old. Young directors, we recently took over the management 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, and we've seen a tremendous growth in education in India.
Yeah.
And today, the Narayana Group in classroom has 400,000 students and employees about 40,000 of them. We've seen that we have a very unique position in the country today to be able to define education policy. It's not just about churning out more and more students, but how can we play a role in nation building? And I think private education institutions in India have a very, very important role to play in nation building. And we are in fact focused over the last 3-4 years to see how we can be involved in this process of trying to prepare our students for the challenges of tomorrow.
So how do you do that?
I think we have to. It's a way of changing our curriculum, and Sindhu will talk more about this. Is preparing the curriculum and the students in a way that they have to have the skills that are required going forward. The world is changing very rapidly, and what skills were 30 years ago are not what are relevant today, and we have to also evolve as an educational institution and make sure our students are prepared for those challenges.
Give an example of how you do that.
Okay. Very simple example is, let's say, leadership and presentation skills.
Okay.
In earlier schools, these were not very important. It's only the core curriculum subjects that you're tested on, and these were the important things that the outside world wanted you to achieve. But today, these skills are what now are what are required in jobs, what are required in your daily life.
Communication skills and
absolutely
public speaking, oratory skills, and
absolutely.
And also that's a lot of focus that you put on.
Yes. While we have to be careful here not to deviate from the core too much, because that then will disrupt the system. But how do we supplement it with things that are important and more relevant, and bring that blend into the curriculum? Private education, unfortunately or fortunately, has to take that mantle of preparing the students for tomorrow. Which is why in the sector there are certain challenges, that are regulatory challenges, because you can change curriculum only to that extent. You have to follow the norms of the government. But unless we are able to adapt, to the extent of flexibility that has been given to us, to ensure that our students are prepared over a period of time to face the challenges of the future, we'll become irrelevant, and that will be a great disservice to this nation.
Okay. So what are the core values of the business?
So Narayana Group goes by the motto Sramayeva Jayate. What Sramayeva Jayate in Sanskrit means is hard work alone prevails. So we believe in hard work, and of course even smart work. All of us, when I say hard work, it's not just about students, the teachers and the core members, the central office, all of us, directors, the chairman, all of us believe in that. So that's the core element.
Just exemplify a little bit on the hard work and the smart work, both fronts.
Sure. So Narayana Group is a 40-year-old organization. It was started in 1979 by my father, who was a teacher. The only way he succeeded in his life was to go to a college and a good education for himself. He worked hard, and that's how he got it. He became a gold medalist in statistics. And post that, he started off teaching in a government institution as a maths teacher. And then simultaneously started taking some tuition classes to train students to get into good engineering colleges and medical colleges. So basically he was preparing them for the entrance exam. So as he went on to do that, he realized that's where he can make much more difference than teaching in a classroom in a government institution. So he went on to start a coaching institution, following that a college, and then a lot of schools, and that's how we ended up with 400,000 students now, with 40,000 employees, and we are spread in more than 10 states in India right now. So all this happened only because of sheer hard work and the smart work as well. So that's what he has done by himself, is what we believe works out for most of the students who belong to middle class or below middle class in India. Your ticket out of that class and going to the next level is education. And we try to impart that quality education at the lowest cost possible, so that it's affordable and attainable through our curriculum, the Narayana curriculum. curriculum.
Okay, tell me something. There are too many private institutions in India, of course. And I always say this, that attributes of any brand can be copied. That you put up a huge building, a 7th floor building, and an 8th floor building your competitor would put. What is the core value of the group which you think is irreplaceable?
So
And that makes a great brand, because today we are also
Absolutely.
revealing the inspirational brands.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's yes, as you rightly said, a lot of things can be copied anywhere in any
All
organization.
attributes can be copied,
In
yeah.
all attributes can be copied, but change is something that is not so easily done in many organizations. So when it comes to Narayana, we don't believe in creating something in the central office and spreading it across to all the branches. Our R&D goes beyond our office. We go to the classrooms, we go to the best teachers who teach in the classrooms. We take from their everyday experience and thereby create a curriculum, and we keep constantly changing it day to day. So that day to day being ahead of the rest of our competitors in terms of changes is what makes us stay ahead. So we do, bring the local communities together and try to explain to them what is the differentiation between what we offer and the surrounding schools offer.
Yeah.
So it could be something as simple as the local apartment students together,
Yeah.
or local. And when we are trying to get students into primary, the local pre-primary students together, all that. That is one way of approach.
And just to add to that, I think we have a 2,500 member ground level.
Okay.
We call them PROs, sales force basically.
Yeah.
What we've understood over a period of time is we can do some things at a national global level, but individually there has to be some teacher who will come and say, this is what the curriculum is about. So whatever I explained to you now. Yes. So whatever I explained to you now about curriculum, about micro schedule.
It becomes an extremely
Very
important
helpful.
thing. Yeah.
So we need to have feet on the street, and we do have that feet on
So
the street.
let's talk about that sales bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
How do you do that? Execute
So we have a about 40 to 50 member feet on the street team for every new school that we start, and a 5 to 10 member team for an old school or an existing school that we start. So what these guys do is they go to the local areas with the apartment complexes or local malls, and they have these events where they're explaining to them about the curriculum, about the examination pattern, about the new age technologies that we're bringing and the new age curriculum that we're designing. All these things are explained to the parent at a personal level.
Yeah.
And then the parent is actually getting convinced over the table saying, look, this is different, this is what is important for my child to compete in the real world, and I would like to take an admission here.
The exam has been completely changed to online from 2019. Students just wrote the exam and they got the JEE main result a week back. So despite all the changes that has been going through, and as you can see, our institution is a 40-year-old successful institution, we were able to manage to stay ahead of time and be prepared for the changes. It could be an online exam, it could be a different model exam, different pattern, negative marking, no negative marking, any kind of exam, our students are able to crack through. We prepare them to be there.
Couple of this to add to what Sindhu is saying. The couple of things that I can think of are unique to us is something called a micro schedule. A micro schedule is very, very interesting because we've managed to create a SOP kind of curriculum.
Yeah.
Which, today a teacher goes to the classroom, teacher doesn't need to go to, what do I need to teach today, how do I need to teach it? So we've made sure that every single chapter is broken down into periods and defined in a schedule and given to a teacher.
Okay.
So if you go to any 6th standard classroom in Mumbai or in Delhi or in Bangalore, in that time of the day, the teacher will probably be teaching the exact same page in this chapter in the book across the country.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the micro schedule that we've prepared and made sure. That micro schedule, like she said, has been researched very strongly at a central level.
Okay.
And then communicated to this. So teacher need not come tomorrow and say, okay, today should I do this, today should I do that. And every week, every 2 weeks, they write a national level competitive examination.
Okay.
So a student may think he's very good coming first in his class, in let's say 8th standard in Bangalore. But suddenly he's competing at a national level with all 8th standard students and he's coming 344th.
Yeah.
So this is telling the child, look, you may be good where you are today, but once you go out into the real world and you face the real competition, you are 344th.
Yeah.
So you have to push yourself, you have to continuously keep moving and improving it. So extracting that very last ounce of potential in every student, which every child is gifted, they're given the right circumstances, given the right training, everybody succeeds.